everybody, Sean from Movie Assault here, and it's time once again for another video. This time around, it is time for a review of the Fantastic Four First Steps, which came out this summer. Actually came out last Friday. And this is the fourth attempt to bring the Fantastic Four franchise back to theaters and make it stick. There have been attempts in 94, 2005, and 2015. So 2025, is it the one that sticks? Yes, this is finally I'll just get the mystery out of the way. This is the best iteration of the series so far. So if you didn't want to know anything else other than that, you can stop the video and just go see the movie. Fantastic Four First Steps, of course, casts Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby as Susan Storm, Eben Moss Backrack is Ben Grimm, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, Julia Garner as Shala Bal, also known as the Silver Surfer, and Ralph Ineson as Galactus. I'm going to try to review this with as little spoilers as I can. First thing I will tell you is that you can go into this movie not knowing anything about any previous Marvel movies whatsoever. This is taking place on a Earth 828, is what they say at the beginning of the film. So it's basically a clean slate. You don't have to know anything about anybody. So if you haven't seen any other Marvel films, feel free to go see this. You won't need to know anything at all. There is an excellent explanation of the Fantastic Four origin story at the beginning of the film. Sort of like Superman sort of drops you in right at the beginning and explains things. Superman didn't quite do it as well as the Fantastic Four does it. The Fantastic Four actually shows you how the characters got their powers, explains some of their major nemeses at the beginning, and shows some of their battles in the guise of like a TV special, like a retrospective. So it kind of gets you up to speed. Superman just throws 3 paragraphs on the screen and away you go. It's a lot more successful than Superman in that aspect. The characterizations, I think, work really well. This actually feels like this Fantastic Four is a family. The previous versions, none of them felt like they were a family unit. This one does. The performances all around are really good. Pedro Pascal makes for a great Reed Richards. I know some people have been complaining that he seems a little too old for the role. I don't think that's the case. Vanessa Kirby makes a really strong and powerful Sue Storm. Eben Moss Backrack is great as Ben Grimm, and his version of the Thing is completely CGI, but I think it's the best one that's been on screen so far. It really looks the best. And it conveys emotion much better than the CGI version from the previous Fan 4 stick, which some people call the 2015 version, which was just pretty awful all the way around. Julia Garner, who is an actress that I really admire for her acting, she's a little muted in this beneath the Silver Surfer CGI, but her performance is still really good. I mean, the character is not an emotional powerhouse anyway, but she does turn in a pretty solid performance. Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. His version of Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, isn't as, pardon the pun, fiery and like loose cannon-y as some of the previous ones. He seems a lot more together. He thinks things through a little bit better, it seems. I don't know if any of that is comic accurate. I am not as familiar with the Fantastic Four as I am some comic characters, but the Jack Kirby influence, I will say, is all over this film, especially the design of Galactus. I mean, it's just incredible. And there's some Easter eggs about Jack Kirby that you can find in the movie. There's even a Jack Kirby quote at the end of the film. From what I understand, they seem to get the Galactus story right, at least for the movies. I'm not as familiar with the Galactus story as I am, or the Fantastic Four story, or the Galactus story. They always seem to be intertwined. Whether they get it right compared to the comic books or not, I don't know. But in terms of the movie, it makes sense and it works. I liked it. I thought that the world building was really well done. There's this sort of retro futuristic world that the movie is set in. It looks like the 60s, but if you look long enough, you'll see things from before the 60s and after the 60s. So it's really a cool combination of different time periods. Things that couldn't have existed in the 60s are there, but things that existed or things that came about around or before the 60s are still in use. It's kind of interesting. The cinematography is really good. The CGI, which I hear a lot of people complaining about in a lot of Marvel movies lately, seemed to be pretty good, at least to me. I didn't notice any big problems with it. I thought all things considered, it was pretty top notch. So I have no complaints about the CGI, and I'm not a big CGI guy. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I did not like it as much as Superman. I mean, I'm only putting it against Superman because they both came out within 2 weeks of each other. I still liked Superman more, but the Fantastic Four is really a good, solid superhero film that you don't need to know anything about. You can go see it. It's a great standalone film. So if you're looking for something enjoyable to watch this summer, definitely go check out Fantastic Four First Steps. I think you'll have a blast with it. It's not overly long either. It's just shy of 2 hours, so you don't have to worry about your ass falling asleep in the seat. Yeah, so this is it. This is the best Fantastic Four movie that they've come out with so far. And I really don't have any big solid complaints about it. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. There you go. That's my review of Fantastic Four First Steps. And stick around for more movie reviews, hauls, all that kind of jazz here on the Movie Assault channel. As always, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I appreciate your attention span, and thanks for watching. As always, take it easy. Bye.